Let's try this. See if there's sound now.
Do you have sound now? Is there sound now?
They're coming on board, but let's just wait a little. Keep talking and see. Tell us when you can hear her.
So we're having problems with our microphone. So it was not wanting to give us any sound. And so that's why we're on a little bit late this morning. Jim, sometimes he has so many nice gadgets, they don't play well together, if you know what I mean. So what I was talking about is 3 tips that I'm going to be talking about today to make your sweaters even nicer, and just a couple little tricks that I've learned by doing my own sweaters that I could help you maybe not run into the pitfalls that I've run into. So, and I'll show you, and we can take a look at that in just a moment here, but I'm talking about our prize that we have every week. And one of the prize for this last week was Millie Calori Baby. And do you know which color was the winning color, Jim? Was it this bright color?
It was a neon.
Aha. It's this beautiful colorway. Has some pinks and browns in it. It's so lovely. And what I love about this Baby Millie Calori is that it's extra fine merino. And it has no other stuff in it. It's 100% merino. So it's super nice to knit with, and it makes great shawls. It makes all kinds of different things. You can even do sweaters, baby sweaters, booties, all kinds of stuff with it.
What's the brand called?
This is by Lang Yarn Company, and you can see here that it's a superwash extra fine merino. It's a single ply yarn, but it knits up very well, and it's sturdy. It's a very nice. Lang does a great job of making their yarn. So if you haven't tried Lang Yarn before, they're a top quality yarn company, I think. And they do a great job. And I was thinking for the prize for this week, we could offer some Sueno tweed. And this is by Skacel, or they call it by Haiku. But it's the Skacel Yarn Company. And this one is, it's 69% superwash merino, 16% viscose from bamboo, and 15% viscose flex. And this is a great DK weight yarn. And you could see how lovely the tweed is. And I thought, you guys choose which color, if we should have the purple or the white, and we can give this out for the prize for next week. So I thought that would be great. And then I have a couple of, last week I was working on a sweater by Irene Lynn. I kind of dumped that sweater for now. It's going to go into a wintertime project, and that was because there were about, there was separate charts for each arm, back, front, sides, and I had to put them all together. And it was just such a laborious effort that I didn't feel like I wanted to do that in the summertime. I'll wait till it is snowing outside, then I can enjoy that kind of project.
Hey, so a lot of people are coming on board, so why don't you tell them what you're covering again today?
Oh, yes. I am covering some, I said 3 tips that will help you make a better sweater. And just from my own experience in my own sweater knitting. And I mean, some of the things you wouldn't even think of. But maybe if I talk to you about them, you can avoid the pitfalls that I've fallen into and be able to make the sweaters even nicer for yourself. So this is a Tsubaki pullover, and it's by Hiroko Fukatsu. And this is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry. I've showed it to you before, and it's one of my favorite sweaters. It is made out of Sueno DK, which I think it's the 2020 color of the year. And I want to make another one of these. This one fits me perfectly. It's a perfect example of why you need to follow the 3 tips that I am going to talk about today. And that is because I don't wear this that often. I would prefer if this sweater was a little bit baggier and a little bit roomier. It fits me absolutely perfectly, but I know that I would wear it more if it was a little tiny bit oversized. So that was one of the tips, is choose a little size larger. Don't make it so that it fits you perfectly, because those oversized sweaters, let's face it, they're more comfortable. So anyway, so I wanted to talk about, make sure and talk to you about that, because a lot of people, well, what I've done before is I've cast on, and I have said, wow, this is a lot of stitches. It looks like it's going to be huge. So then I jumped down to the next size smaller. And then I wish I had stayed at that larger size. So sometimes you trust the numbers when you do your gauge swatch and all that, and it gives you some numbers. Try and trust the gauge swatch. Don't try and second guess it. I know a lot of people like to second guess, and I've seen it a lot of times here at Alpaca Direct when we help our customers, and they come in there, they're just positive that the pattern is messed up, and then we go through it and go, sometimes the pattern is messed up, but sometimes we're just trying to read too much into it. And if we would actually just carefully follow the directions, you'd be better off. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that is a good thing to do. And then this was another sweater that I have been dying to make this sweater, and I don't know if any of you have seen this out and about as you've looked on Ravelry and what have you. It's called Magnolia Bloom by Kamala Vad, and it is a great little design. She has it for little kids. She has it in a sweater, a cardigan form, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I will be making that in the near future. But let's take a look at this one sweater here. And so the first thing that I wanted to talk about is I just want to show you on the sleeves, right? So first, when you look at your sweater and you look at the back of it, I have found from knitting sweaters, and I know this seems kind of weird, but for some reason, when you go from knitting the body of the sweater to doing your sleeves, the gauge gets tighter. Did you know that, Jim?
No.
Your gauge gets tighter, and I'm not sure if it's because it's a smaller circumference or what the reason is, but the gauge gets smaller. So let's see if we can take a look at that gauge and see if we can see what I'm talking about. It's kind of weird. I just kind of fell into this and went, wow. And then I have seen people review this, say the same thing online. I love everything about the sweater, but the sleeves are too tight. So if we're going to check our gauge in 4 inches to see how many stitches we get. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's 29 stitches. And isn't that interesting? Because when I checked it this morning, I got 26.5 stitches. So let's see. So now I've gotten 29 stitches. Now let's check our sleeves. Okay? And see what we got. Now when I knit this sweater, I did knit this sweater with needles that were 1 size larger. And looking back at it, I probably could have gotten away with knitting it with a needle that's 2 sizes larger, and I could have gotten a fit on my arms that was more relaxed and more comfortable. The only thing I wouldn't do is when you first start, if you have to pick up stitches or what have you, stay with your smaller needle until you've picked up all your stitches, because when you pick up stitches, this was actually, you didn't have to pick up stitches. But in a traditional raglan type sweater where you're picking up stitches around the whole of the sleeve, if you use a really large needle, you're just going to make this connection between the body of the sweater and the sleeves stand out more, and you're going to make it look holy. So if you do choose to use larger needles on your sleeves, make sure that you stay with the needles, the normal size needles that you knit your body with, until after you have picked up your stitches. That's what I would do. Okay. And then now let's take a look and see if we can just take our, I'm looking to make sure I have it right on that edge.
You're seeing if the gauge changed on the arms versus the back.
Right. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 20. It's about the same. It's about the same, and it's because I used a needle that was one size larger on these sleeves than I did on the body.
Oh.
Okay? I used my own rule. I used a larger needle on the sleeves. Even in the pattern, if they don't tell you to use a larger needle on the sleeves, I totally recommend using a larger needle on the sleeves. And like I said, I would have probably been even happier with this sweater had I used a needle 2 sizes larger. Because if I went from right here and I used a needle that was 2 sizes larger, you can't see that the stitches are getting bigger. But you definitely can feel if you put on a sweater and the sleeves are kind of tight on your arms, well, that's not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that at all. So using that needle, larger needle on the sleeves is good. And I'm not sure, again, like I said, I'm not sure why it happens that when you're knitting, see, I use the magic loop method for 2 at a time in the round. So when I do my sleeves, not this sweater, because this sweater was, it was attached. It was knit differently. It was knit flat and then attached, doing this little closed up as you go, knit as you go. So it was knit differently. It wasn't in the round where your sleeve was like a hat,
right?
A tube. Yeah. So this one was knit a little bit differently, but. Now, here's another thing that I wanted to look at with you. So this sweater, if you look at it, okay, you can see that I did some short rows in the back to make it just a little bit longer in the back. That is another thing that's really lovely. If you want to have a crop type sweater, you can make it crop maybe in the front and make it a little longer in the back. So, it gives you coverage in the back so you don't get airflow in the back. But overall, I think as a general rule, if you make your sweater so that it is a little longer, sometimes it's more wearable for people.
Okay.
Because especially people like us who are older, we don't want our belly hanging out, right? So having a sweater that covers you adequately will just ensure that you wear it more. And then also on this, there's another reason why I don't get to wear this quite as much as I would like to, and that is because it's 100% merino wool. Mm-hmm. If you wear this and you're going to wear it in your house, well, in my house it's 72 degrees. At all times, we keep the temperature exactly 72 degrees. So if I wear this merino wool sweater in the house, what do you think happens to me?
You get hot.
My cheeks start to flush, and then if I don't fall asleep from being too warm, then I will start to sweat. So maybe, yeah, I was thinking that I would try a sweater and make it out of the Comfort DK that we have. It's 100% acrylic that has no wool, and see if maybe I could wear it. Or, you know, another fiber that I like for knitting sweaters is Pima cotton. The only thing about Pima cotton and the Pima cotton that we have is that it lacks a lot of structure to it, so it's kind of floppy. So it might not be as beautiful as this is. I don't know how it would knit up, but yeah. And then so the main thing when you're making your sweater, if you're going to err on sizing, err on making it a little bigger rather than a little smaller. Because you don't want to feel like you're in a 20-pound sausage in a 10-pound bag. If you know what I mean. And so making error on the side of making your sweater a little bigger. And anyways, you could make, like on this sweater, I could even make a medium or large sweater in the actual sweater and then follow the directions on the sleeves for the smaller size. So I could make it a little bit wider and then make the sleeves my normal size, and then it would look as if it was totally made for my size. I mean, you know, You know how sometimes people wear something and it's super baggy, and it's baggy everywhere. Like it's baggy in the shoulders, it's baggy in the sleeves, and you go, oh, that's not a good look because it looks like they're wearing someone else's shirt. Not a good look. But if you can always mess around with these designers' sweaters and just make a larger size for the body and make a smaller size for the sleeves, which is quite popular right now. I think having that oversized look. I see it everywhere that I go right now. So let's look and see if we can find our winner for our Millie Calori Lang. And the winner for today is Elaine Hurst. Yay! Congratulations! You won this lovely yarn. And it is a fantastic yarn for doing shawls. I mean, it would make a perfect hitchhiker or something like that. Anyway, I love the way that it stripes. And I hope that you enjoy it too, Elaine. So all you have to do is get in contact with us at customer service at Alpaca Direct and give us your shipping address, and we can get it out in the mail right away so you can enjoy your lovely yarn. And I'm sure that you'll enjoy knitting with it. It's great yarn. So for this next week, I was thinking...
And have them vote one more time for the other.
Oh, right. Okay. Jim said that we should vote one more time for our Sueno tweed in either, get the hair off there, purple or white. And you choose, and we can send it to the winner for next week.
And we have a special discount, remember?
Yes. And don't forget your discount code. So the discount code for Sueno tweed is TT6722. TT6722.
Today only.
Today only for the Sueno tweed. If you want to try this lovely yarn and you would like to buy some, you can get a nice discount today.
10%.
Yes, it's 10% off for you, those of you that are listening. And this next week, I think I'm going to be doing a tea. And I will be making it out of Comfort DK. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.